let's talk about long leashes and the best ones that you can have for letting your dog play out in public, but still being attached to you. Now, you know, I'm a huge proponent of keeping your dogs on leash while you are in public because that is just basic safety. We want to make sure that while our dogs are in public, we are keeping everyone safe and secure. Now, when you're in private, when you're on your private property, you have a fenced in area, by all means, go run off leash. My dogs love that. But when my dogs are in public, they will always be on a leash for basic safety reasons. Because no matter how good my dogs are at following my instructions, their recall command is, no matter how good they are at handling situations, we can't control outside forces, other people, other children, other dogs, wildlife, weird sounds that could potentially scare them. And I want to make sure I have control of my dog. So if somebody comes running up to us, I can control that situation. If there's another person with a reactive dog who is nervous about my dog not being near me or not being on a leash, I can control that situation. I want to make sure that if there's a loud sound and my dogs bolt because they're scared, they're still attached to me. They're not going to be able to run away. It's just basic safety when we're in public, and it's just basic respect as well. So having a long leash is incredibly helpful because then my dog still has freedom, but is still attached to me. So if I'm holding a long leash while we're walking, my girls have the freedom to sniff around, to kind of move around, to go off to investigate things, but they're still attached to me. I can pull them in if needed, but they're still able to go around and to do things. I also really like it for playtime. So if we pause at a field and we play with the balls, now they have the ability to run around and do fun things and be excited and have that fun while still also being safe. So when it comes to those long leashes, I'm looking for a couple of different things. The first is length. Length is incredibly important because that allows for a specific range that your dog can play in. You might have seen some of my other videos where Lucy got to the end of her long leash and snapped herself in the air while we were at the beach because she was running. She was so happy to be by the water that she ran and she just ran to the end of it. And I was moving quickly, but not as quickly as her. And she got to the end of that leash. That was a 20 or 30 foot leash and it worked really well, but only to a point because I have a very happy puppy at the beach. And so I then invested in a 50-foot leash and my gosh, it's magical. It's amazing. It's more for me to manage. As dog mom, I'm happy to do that for my dog. It's more for me to hold. It's more for me to like pick up and deal with, but it gives her more freedom, which I really, really like. So the longer the better when it comes to getting those long leashes, with the caveat of it has to be something your dog can manage. If you have a tiny dog and you have a 50-foot leash, that's probably not going to work to their benefit, right? They're probably not going to be able to manage that weight. So be smart about the length you get based on the type of dog that you have, their personality, and how much they're going to be able to move around or how much you want them to be able to move around. Now, another thing that I really strongly look for is water resistant leashes. Water resistant leashes are going to be really, really helpful because if you're at the beach or the ocean or the pond or the river, the whatever, it's going to be in the water. And you want to be able to wash it off. You want to be able to clean it off without it getting smelly or deteriorating the material that it's made out of. But this also goes for the park too. If you're taking your dog to the park and they're going to be able to play in the field, you pretty much run the risk of it dragging through some not so nice stuff, be it like ant hills that are out there or people who didn't clean up after their dogs, which we live in a world where many, many, many people are not cleaning up after their dogs. So you want to be able to wash that when you get back home to make sure everything is clean and you don't have those germs on it. Or if it gets muddy or dirty or whatever, being able to wash it without it smelling or deteriorating is incredibly important. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to that as well. Another thing that I really like is the ability to float on water. I have one that does, one that does not. And so the one that floats on water makes it very easy for me to see where their leashes are, if they are in the ocean or if they're in a river or wherever it happens to be, so that I can know where they are and that they're not getting tangled in it. You also want to pay attention to color. I aesthetically went for black leashes for mine, and that works really well for the aesthetic of it. That works really well for the content I'm creating. That works really well for blending with whatever we are and not having like an obnoxious color. But you might also want an obnoxious color so that you can very clearly see where that is, especially if water or taller grass is involved. You might want a neon color, or you might just want to go for the aesthetic of matching your outfits. If you have multiple long leads, match your outfits. It's what I'm starting to do. And so you have a lot of flexibility with this, but mainly I am looking for the length. I am looking for water resistant and easy to clean. And then I'm going to be looking for something that is sturdy. Color is just kind of a secondary thing that I'm looking for based on our needs and based on what's going to be safest for us. And so something that is well built, something that is getting lots of good reviews is incredibly helpful. I'm going to go ahead and link my long leads down below so that you can take a look at them. They are water resistant. Some of them float. Like they're ones that I very much like. Gemma really likes them too. If you hear her, she's got her allergies going right now. She's very itchy from the pollen outside. But these have been incredibly helpful. And then I can choose to take them to the beach with us or to the river with us. I can choose to use them when we are playing in the park. I can choose to use them when we're walking and just hold it or carry it in my backpack and pull it out just for that playtime. I'm also currently using them in my yard. We just reseeded the yard and we're at the point where the girls can go into the yard, but I want them on leashes for at least part of the time because if they start to dig at it, that's going to be a problem. So I have the ability to let them play in the yard but still have a little bit of control over that situation. So follow along for more tips and tricks. We've got a full playlist on leashes and harnesses that you want to check out, as well as playlists on enrichment tools, how to travel with your dog, how to work on car manners and fears and frustrations with your dog, how to do all sorts of really great things to help you level up as a dog parent. So we'll see you in the upcoming episodes as we continue to help you give your dog the best life possible.